my name is Andrea Sweet, and I work with the University of Waterloo. I've been here for about 5 years, and I was the portal project manager for a duration of time in 2016. I've since left that position, and I'm working in a different department. So I've left Laura holding the reins. Laura Stickle, who has been our student engagement coordinator, has taken on a lot of the project management since that time and has been in her current role since 2015. So today we're going to give you a bit of an overview of the history of the project process, some of the learnings and the outcomes of the portal project at the University of Waterloo, as well as some lessons learned. We're going to talk a little bit about the work that's happened with portal since its initial launch, and also share a demo with you just to give you a closer sense of the breadth and depth of information that's available in this aggregated tool. So Portal is a website, and now actually it's also a mobile app that is customized to deliver the UWaterloo information that current students need just when they need it. Really, it aggregates user-specific content from other websites and databases around campus and across many different departments to deliver relevant, time-sensitive, academic, social, athletic, and campus life information. In terms of budget, from the period of project inception in 2012 through to the website launch in 2015, all web development, project management, and communication and planning was provided by existing staff resources. The expenses incurred for the launch year were really based around the implementation of a student feedback tool, project management software tool, student consultation groups, supplies and stipends, as well as special events such as a hackathon event, and then various promotional and communications initiatives. And the total of that was just slightly over $4,000. What we're hoping to do now is just to show you a very quick introductory video that the Student Success Office made to promote Portal to different students to provide a little bit of context for the rest of the information that you're going to see. So I'm going
How do I look? Does my hair look good? Make sure you get my good side.
You're on.
Oh, hey! My name is Annabelle. I'm going to share with you some things I wish I knew before I started at Waterloo. There are 4 main web tools that will help you be successful as a Waterloo student, and you will access them with your WhatIM login information. The Student Portal is where you can find all the information that matters to you as a student in one easy, mobile-friendly place. In the portal, you can customize the information so it's relevant to you. And trust me, it's got everything. You should definitely check it out before you get here. The portal will have your orientation event schedule starting in August. You can also find out when and where your next classes are and what textbooks you need for each class. It can also show you how to navigate around campus so you'll never get lost. Nails. I told you, black and gold stripes, not polka dots. When you're hungry, you can find out about food specials on campus, plus where you can get a vegetarian or halal meal. The Student Portal also offers real-time availability of study spaces, computer labs, and campus hotspots. Portal can help you keep track of your life as a Waterloo student. You can find out about upcoming events, important dates and deadlines, plus other cool and helpful information. I wish the Student Portal had been around when I was in first year. It's awesome. There's so much for you to explore inside the Student Portal. The best part is that it works on your desktop, tablet, or a smartphone, so you can access it wherever you go. Log into the portal in August. Check your orientation schedule, see the books you'll need, and check out what the portal has to help you be successful. It will be your first best friend at Waterloo. We'll see you soon.
Who are these people?
They're my entourage. They follow me everywhere.
Okay, so that really just provides a little bit of context for the rest of the details we're going to cover. Okay, so just to reiterate, the whole intention of Portal really is to aggregate data from other systems into a single view and experience. So all of the data is really coming in from external systems. It doesn't live independently within Portal itself. So why Portal? So Portal was designed for the target audience of just over 35,000 undergraduate and graduate students who tend to be technically oriented and have really high expectations in terms of how they're serviced on campus and the quality of that service they receive, whether it be person to person or through technical interface. Other really key stakeholders for this project included faculty, staff, senior administration, student governments who use it to communicate with those target audiences. The portal was created by the Student Success Office in partnership with Information and Systems Technology. As I mentioned earlier, it was developed in-house and based on extensive student consultation. This is a really key factor in moving the project forward and the project's success, and that's the fact that it was governed by a steering committee comprised of key leadership in strategic areas, and this was important to ensure that portal met the needs of students, aligned with the business processes of campus, and was championed at a strategic level, ensuring changes to process, technology, and workflow. In terms of timeline, if we take a look back at the duration of the project, the research and consultation initially began in 2012 and ran the course of a full year. Development and testing for the website ran from 2013 to 2014, and then in 2015 there was a beta release to all undergraduate and graduate students. And as I mentioned, that's just over 35,000 students. Talk a little bit about the goals and objectives. So the strategic priority of Portal is really to increase engagement and communications with students, faculties, and support units. We wanted to support one of our key organizational goals as articulated in our strategic plan, which is to support a vibrant student experience. And the area that this particular project fell under was by delivering integrated and optimized processes, communications, and systems to support student success, as well as the delivery of excellent student services through an integrated, student-focused approach. So if we look at strategic student communications, it was really all centered around this idea of lower volume and more relevant messaging and communications, so themes of targeting and timeliness. Students have consistently provided feedback via surveys and other methodologies about feeling overwhelmed by the volume of emails they receive and the number of different websites or systems they need to access in order to find important information. So Portal was created specifically to address this feedback and these needs, along the intentions of providing Waterloo information they need exactly when they need it in a really clear, easy-to-use way. So if we look at the full launch, which was open to all undergraduate and graduate students, and this was after the targeted phase had reached 100% capacity. And then we were in full launch phase where Portal was available to everyone. In terms of implementation, the goal was to build awareness and student engagement with the portal, achieving a 35% user rate for fall 2015 launch, and that was the first term that all students were able to access Portal. And ongoing engagement. So the objective really was to continue to solicit and incorporate student feedback to improve the Portal experience, as well as allowing students to develop their own content for Portal by leveraging our student developer community. So if we dig a little deeper into the initial launch and implementation of the website, we can take a look here and see that there were many consultations to obtain feedback and build awareness. So initially, that was engagement with student government bodies and different consultation groups. So over 100 different students contributed at that phase. In terms of the initial implementation, there were 15 coordinated outreach activities demonstrating Portal and actively soliciting feedback from students. And in that case, there were over 500 students engaged. There were, and this is a big one, 43 campus partner meetings. So these campus partners would be our internal community of faculty and staff, and working with them to build support and discuss data management. So a key area critical to the success of Portal was that our campus partners used systems available to them in a way that optimized and guaranteed the accuracy of the data that the students experience within Portal. As well, there was a survey administered to model student use to help inform task prioritization as well as the approach to development, and that had over 800 respondents. If we talk about the launch, so Portal was launched initially, so this is prior to the fall 2015 date, to 4 different faculties by a personalized email invitation from their faculty dean, and this was supported by strategic social and digital promotions. So the intent here was to champion and also position Portal as an official and recommended system on campus because it was new, and also to sort of have that personal touch by coming from faculty deans. We also executed compelling social and digital promotions to help build awareness on campus. So you can see some of these samples here that really play on popular culture, really speaks to our students, especially our lower year students. So this was during the initial launch and was really meant to grab attention. Later we transitioned into messaging that identified Portal's features and the value adds for students, as well as advertising new features that may have become available. So you can see some of this stuff is kind of fun, and it was really successful in encouraging students to check out this new solution. Some other examples there. Also, we targeted faculty members and academic advisors who were asked to promote Portal to their students. So again, having that support, encouragement, and really endorsement of academic as well as advisory staff on campus really helped to build the reputation and communicate to students that yes, this was a solution that they could rely and depend on. Significant focus was also made to integrate Portal into all pre-arrival and orientation communications and programming to target incoming students. We'll get into this a little more later on, but the best time to introduce students to a new solution is when they're onboarded into the university. When we're trying to work with students in later years, at times they've already gotten used to the systems that were here when they began and maybe a little more reluctant to shift their behaviors. And then at that time, around the time of launch, as I mentioned, the team hired a student portal engagement coordinator to focus on student outreach activities and communications to increase awareness and student engagement with Portal. And one of the most important components of this role and the work that they do is ensuring that the continuous feedback loop stays active and doesn't break down, so that the people managing the project, as well as the development team and the steering committee, have a lot of insight and data into the ever-changing needs of our students. And the final thing we'll talk about in terms of launch and post-launch is that the project team and the development team committed to rapid release cycles with a strong feedback loop. So related to what I just mentioned about the work of the student engagement coordinator, scheduling releases to Portal at 3-week intervals to allow quick response of student feedback as well as continual feature enhancement. Okay, so I'm going to just quickly transition to Laura Stickle, who's going to talk about ongoing engagement as well as some of the learning outcomes of the project, and then treat us to a demo of Portal.
All right. So within my role, ongoing engagement is a very large piece. And so I have collaborated with different partners around the university to create some fun events. The first one we did was a Pin It to Win It contest, where we actually encouraged students to pin the website, because we didn't have the app yet. So to pin the website to the home screen of their phone, and we had gift cards and different prizes. Later on, once the app was released, we had a contest called Start Your Term Off on the Right Beat. And this was really fun because the developers actually built a contest widget in the app, and students could essentially go around campus and find codes that they would then input into the app for points. So it was basically a campus-wide scavenger hunt, but all connected through the Portal app, and the grand prize was some Beats headphones, and students had really positive feedback about that. Throughout the term, we give out candy, we have freezy days. We also have a Portal Ambassador program where we encourage students to come on board and help promote Portal. We have art volunteers, especially related to different contests that we're running, where we allow them to sort of promote their art abilities on campus and generate some more excitement for Portal. We are currently working on student profiles, so we're encouraging students to come in and we draft a full profile of them to use for the development team when they are developing, so that we have a full view of the diversity of our users. And we've found that this is really helpful just to keep in mind in development, because the university is so large and so diverse. It's helpful to have reminders of who exactly we're building for. We also have hackathons multiple times each year, and this is a great opportunity where students can come in and code and develop alongside our Portal developers. They are tasked with building a widget in teams, and then at the end of the day they present it. And we've been very fortunate to have excellent ideas coming from the students, and we've already implemented some of them into the Portal. And we're hoping that as time goes on, we're able to get all of them to the point that they are ready to be implemented, because it's very important with our philosophy and outlook on Portal that we are continuously looking to our students for their ideas and suggestions, and following up with enhancements to Portal so that we're meeting them in their needs and allowing them to give us the insights on how to build a tool that works for them. We also have orientation integration, so we look to include all of the orientation scheduling and activities into Portal so that it's one of the first things that students see when they come on board at the university. And finally, in our Faculty 101 days, we have presentations introducing Portal and giving a little bit more information on its uses and its benefits for student life. So throughout this, there of course have been challenges, and so looking back, we've been able to summarize them. Partially, as Andrea mentioned earlier, we did do a scaled release, and so the purpose of having a scaled release was to start off small. We can have a isolated group of students that we're releasing it to and obtain their feedback, work out any of the bugs, and really make sure that it is performing as expected before we increase our user base. And also, just because we did develop it in-house, we wanted to make sure that it could maintain the capacity of our large student population when it was being used. So because of this, we did find that it was difficult to maintain our communications effectively when only targeting a small user base. So we only had one faculty at the beginning that we were targeting, and you know, what we would have liked to do is to have a big cross-campus promotional campaign, but unfortunately, because we didn't want to promote it to students who don't have access, getting that message across once it was available across campus was more of a challenge. We also found that upper year students have already found ways to go about their daily activities, and they've built their behaviors and their habits. And so when we introduced Portal to them, they were more reluctant to take it up because it would mean shifting their already sort of honed behavior. Also, one of our key priorities this year is to implement notifications into Portal. And we're hoping to have targeted notifications from advisors that will reduce the volume of emails that students are receiving. But we are currently experiencing the challenges in orchestrating the governance and policies in place and creating policies so that we don't overwhelm students with the number of notifications that they're then receiving. Basically, we do want to reduce the email volume, but we don't want to in turn bombard them with notifications. So we have to figure out a way to obtain that balance and do it so that it is a long-term strategy. Finally, the third point there points to the app and the website. So this dates back to the beginning of when we created Portal. It was created only as a website, and we soon learned from lots of student feedback that the website's great, but students want an app. And this was one of the number one responses that we got from our large survey that we put out across campus. Students really voiced the need for a mobile application. And so that's something that we since then have been working towards, and we were able to launch. So outcomes as a whole. In the fall of 2015, we were able to launch Portal to all students, which was a very large success. We had a target rate of 35% usage among our student population, and we were very pleased to see that we had exceeded that by 6%, with a total of 41% of students using Portal in the fall of 2015. In the cross-campus survey that we put out to students, 93% reported Portal as being excellent, good, or fine. And 52% of them said that Portal has made their lives at Waterloo easier. So that was very significant because we were really hoping to hear that positive, the positive impact that students had through Portal. Over the course of the project, as Andrea mentioned, we've conducted 15 outreach activities across campus, 2 consultation groups. We've talked to over 500 students to build engagement and excitement about the Portal. We've replied to over 1,000 feedback messages, and we're able to integrate many of the ideas that came from those into enhancements in the Portal. And we've hosted 3 hackathons, and from that we've launched student-created content, the first being the Open Classrooms feature, and we currently are working on another hackathon-inspired feature that we're hoping to get out later this year. So the next steps, there is always room for evolution and improvement in Portal. So in 2016, the focus was on creating the mobile app, integrating it with campus systems, reducing the volume of emails through targeted notification, and increasing student engagement. Some of these features, such as the targeted notifications, have been pushed forward to this year because we weren't able to fully achieve them in 2016. But we are very excited about the aspect of encouraging more of our advisors to promote Portal and get a lot of their content being delivered right to students' phones. The app was successful. Move forward here and talk a little bit about some of the key messaging that we use when we're promoting both the app and the web platforms of Portal. So we want students to know that it is an official tool. That's one of the questions that we get asked a lot, because on campus we do have students that create apps on their own, and so we're really working to differentiate Portal as an official tool. Built by Waterloo for students, it aggregates information from more than 20 websites into a single experience. It's responsive. The app was launched in 2016. It's personal and customizable, and it's driven by student feedback, which is a very important feature. This is just a screenshot that shows you the different views of Portal on both the web platform and the app. So it's fully mobile responsive and customizable, and fits many different platforms. Also, it's personal. It allows students to access their personal UWaterloo data and customize the public data that they want to receive. So they'll have their own class schedules, their exam schedules, their calendar, course materials, and customized feeds that they can look at and customize the way that they choose to. These three screens here show you the different some of the different screens within the app. So the first is the login screen, where students would log in with their unique username and password. The middle one shows the dashboard. So this is the main page that students go to get information relevant to their day. So a lot of their schedules, their classes that they have coming up, any events that are going on around campus. And the third one is a list of notifications. At this point, the main notifications are coming from the registrar's office and student accounts, and all of these are, they have the ability to be clicked, and they will take the student to a website with more information. So there's always the opportunity to find out more if they need to. We also say that Portal's, it's time. It allows students to stay on top of what needs to happen when, whether that is their transit schedules, their notifications, to-do lists, upcoming events, and the local bus schedule. So here you'll see different screenshots for the orientation programming. Students could click any one of those events, and they would be brought into a screen that shows them the time, location, and description of the event. And the little arrow that you see beside the location will actually direct them to a map, which you see on the third screenshot, that gives them navigation on how to get to where they're going, which has proven very useful for first years in orientation. They're not familiar with the campus layout. And now I'm going to take you through so this is the main page once a student has logged in, and this would be their dashboard, and it's essentially created to give them their day at a glance. So they can go here, they can see the news that is upcoming for the day, and that's defaulted into their home faculty and program. There's the opportunity for them to check out new features, new things around campus through the Did You Know? The GRT is the local bus system that we have, and it allows students to actually go in and select the routes that they take most often. They can favorite those routes so they never have to search for them again, and then it tells them real-time data on the next time that their bus is coming. So it really allows them to be punctual and maximizing their time and efficiency. Students have classes, they'll be listed here, and this little arrow will direct them to the location in case they are having trouble navigating themselves around campus. The Computer Labs widget gives real-time data on how many computers are being used in the faculty computer labs around campus. So this is really great, especially around end of term when there's assignments. Rather than having students walk all the way to the computer labs, they can quickly log into Portal and check and see if there are some available for them to use. Crowd Reporter is a great widget that has all different points of interest around campus listed. And so it's used to show crowding levels on campus. So students can find out how busy the Starbucks location is, or how long they'll have to wait if they want to work out at the gym. And it's student reported information, so they would go in and they would log that it's very crowded or not crowded at all, but it's a feature that students really like. Walk Card is our payment card and identification on campus, and students can load that with meal plan dollars and also flex dollars. And so this widget allows them to keep tabs on what their current balance is. It also links them if they want to top up funds. The events, again, is defaulted to home faculty, and also students can customize it to other areas of the university, but it keeps them informed of what's coming up when. The To-Do widget allows students to create different tasks that they need to work on, and then it can be added both to their calendar and also on the home page here, so that they can make sure that they're maximizing their time and doing all that they need to do. The Food widget has all of our food locations on campus. I'm going to go in and show you. So students can scroll through the list of food locations and select the ones that they eat at on a regular basis. And then if they select any of those food locations, it'll show them the actual location with directions if they need it, the operating hours, a small description of the establishment, and also if there's any lunch and dinner specials, they can see that here. Students can also click on any of the specials and they're told the nutritional information. It's a really great way to keep students informed and also allow them to make healthy choices and stay balanced. Another really popular feature that we have, and this is new to Portal, is the employer info sessions. So we partnered up with the Career Center at the university, and we now have a listing for all of the different employers that are coming to campus. So students can scroll through, and if there are any employers that they're interested in, they can just click the employer, find a little bit of detailed information about them, determine when and where they're coming, and figure out who they're targeting in terms of hiring. Maybe they're close to graduation and they're looking for a job. And registration is very simple. All they do is they click on the star to register. It's then added to their calendar, and they can unregister just as easily. So we've gotten a lot of really positive feedback from students on this, because we know that the job search can be daunting, and it's great for them. No matter what year they are, they can start looking into different options. I'm going to give you a little bit more information just on Portal as a whole. So up here, we have the Portal calendar, and students will see all of their classes listed, and then if they're in any clubs and events, that'll be here as well for them. They can also import anything with an iCal feed to this calendar to keep it all in one place. The notification is similar to what we were talking about earlier. Currently, we have notifications from financial services and the registrar's office, and all of these are clickable if I want to get more information about them. But one of our tasks this year is to provide more notification opportunities for other areas on campus. So this is pretty much the home page. I'm now going to go into widgets. So you've heard me using the word widgets quite a lot. Widgets are all of the little app-like features within Portal, and many of them were displayed on the front page, but this page has all of them. And we allow students to go in and customize it to their needs. So if you're a student who is really into athletics, you could add this to your favorites so it's a little more accessible to you. But our athletics information, students can go in, and we have all of the listings of the different fitness classes that are offered on campus. So students can find out when the classes are being offered. If they really want to stay informed, they can select the star so that it's always added to their calendar and they never miss another class. Students can also keep track of varsity games through here. It's a great opportunity for them to find find out when Waterloo is playing other universities and maybe make the trip to go and cheer on their fellow athletes. I'm not going to go through all of these because there are a lot, but you'll see we have a wide variety of widgets for students. Another one that's very popular is the clubs and services, especially for new students looking to get involved. This has a large listing of all of the different clubs on campus, and it allows students to easily get involved and find peers with similar interests and hobbies. The opportunities widget allows students to find paid and volunteer opportunities on campus. Academic resources helps students find their advisors, tutors, subject librarians to support them. The course materials widget shows students which classes they need based on their course selection. So before we had this, students had to go on to an online form and manually type in their course codes and look it up for each course, whereas this widget takes all of their registered courses and just spits out a feed of all the textbooks that they need as well as the cost. Final exams posts students' exam schedule once it's been released by the registrar's office. The office hours widget is also new to Portal. It's one of our first crowdsourced widgets, and it allows students to actually input the time and location of their professor's hours, office hours, and it's then cross-referenced and validated. But we've been getting a lot of positive feedback from students on this. It's still a work in progress as it is still fairly new, but it's been great in terms of actually sourcing out that information, because we've found because the university is so large, sometimes it is a challenge to get consistent information across the board, and so crowdsourcing it is one of the options around that. Parking, we have a widget that will show real-time parking lot availability in the student lots around campus. So when students are struggling to find an available parking spot, they can check Portal and find out which lots still have some free room. And open classrooms is one that I mentioned before. This was one of our student-created features that came out of a hackathon, and it is probably one of the most used features in Portal. What it does is it has a large listing of all of the different buildings on campus. And I'll tell you, the reason that this came about was because students were voicing that sometimes it was difficult to find locations to study on campus. The library rooms would be booked, especially around finals, and it's difficult to find space for group work. And so what this student did was he compiled a list of all of the different locations on campus, and then students can go in and check where they are or where they plan to be, and all of the classrooms within that building will be listed. And it'll show you which classrooms are currently available and which will become available later in the day. So it tells you how long you have to study or do group work. And also, if students are planning for maybe a date later in the week, they can select any of the individual rooms, and they're provided with a schedule for the next week. So it works really well in terms of being able to plan time that's convenient and sort of readily available for their studying needs. So those are the main features that I'm going to go through in terms of widgets. We also have a large social feed that students can go in and customize depending on which channels they like to hear from through the university. And again, this is all of our official university channels. And finally, under settings, students can go in and they can customize their Portal experience. So they can change the color of the features to align with their faculty colors. They can also select different background photos based on their preferences. And so the whole thinking behind this was just to make it a very sort of individualized, customizable tool that meets student needs and also helps them along the way of their academic journey. So that is it for the...
There you are. So your lines are all now open. Feel free to ask a question if you have it. Thank you, Andrea and Laura. To start, there was a question that came in to me. It said, do new graduates lose access to the portal once they graduate, or can you use this as a way to keep their information updated?
So right now, yes, they would lose access once they're no longer affiliated in a student capacity with the university. But one of the enhancements on the horizon for exploration in 2017 and hopefully implementation still this year, but maybe in 2018, is to evolve the student-focused portal into what we're calling open portal. So that's taking the customization a step further and allowing this, in this case, this student who has just graduated to then transition to an alumni experience through the same software.
Okay.
And we're looking at having different views, like Andrea mentioned. So there would be potentially a prospective student view, there might be an employer view, an alumni view, a staff view. So lots of different profile views depending on the type of user experience that the user is coming in for.
Okay. If anybody on the line have any questions, you can feel free to ask it out loud. Otherwise, you can definitely post the question through the chat box. So I'll give everybody a moment. I personally have a question. Just I'll have each of you answer. Of all of the widgets that you showed us during the portal, which one, if you had to pick one, do you think is probably the most useful, or the one that, if all other widgets break down, what's the one widget that you think is the one that you should keep?
So I would say the Open Classroom widget, which I demoed last. And I have been told from my peers that a lot of employees at the university have relied on this widget. I've got one of my colleagues works in orientation, and she was planning an event with students, and it was an outdoor event, and then it was raining, and so they needed an area where they could get together with the students. And so her first response was, oh, okay, I'll check Open Classrooms in Portal. And she was able to easily and quickly find a room that would be open and that would be empty for the duration of time that she needed it. And I've heard from so many students that this is just, a huge problem solver for them, because space has been sometimes consistently voiced as an issue, and so it opens up a tremendous amount of space for students to utilize in a very easy way.
Great.
I have a related question. If a group does go to one of these open spaces, is there a way for them to indicate that it's now occupied? Is there a way for them to reserve a space, or is it just sort of first come, first served?
That's a great question, and it's a question that students have sort of requested for a while now. At this point, it is sort of first come, first serve, and we do know that there are oftentimes multiple students in a classroom that are studying or working, but no, there is currently no way to book out rooms, but it has been sort of a request that's come in many times from students. But we do have a study space widget on Portal as well that I didn't demo, and that's linked up to all of the bookable study locations on campus. And so a lot of our study locations through the Student Life Center and the libraries, students can reserve them. And so we do have a feature in Portal that allows them to reserve them only for their use.
Great. Perfect. No questions have come up in the chat box, so I'll give it just another moment to see if anybody on the line has any questions. Great. Well, I think everybody's kind of processing what we've seen. It's a great portal, and at the same time, I think, with some of these widgets and some of these other items, you can hear wheels turning to see if what can be incorporated probably locally. So if anybody does have any questions for the presenters, you can most likely reach out to them directly or get in touch with me, and I can put you right in touch with them. And then if there's anything at all, please feel free to get in touch with us. So if there are no other additional questions, I would like to thank both of our presenters. And if you have anything at all, please be in touch, and have a great afternoon, everybody.